So, let's talk about one of the biggest movie stars on the planet, but maybe not in the way you'd expect. Today, we're not just looking at him as an actor, but as an architect. We're going to reverse engineer the actual blueprint of Shah Rukh Khan's incredible career.
And that brings us to the big question, right? Is a career that lasts for decades and mesmerizes millions of people, is that just a happy accident? You know, a bit of luck, some charm, perfect timing? Or is it something way more deliberate? A structure that was meticulously designed and built by a master architect.
You see, on one side there's the myth we all know, the king of romance, the guy with that effortless charm. But you flip that coin over, and that's where you find the truth. Behind that myth is the architect, a strategist who made some seriously calculated gambles, brilliant rejections, and these masterful pivots. That is the story we're getting into today.
Okay, so where does an architect even start? Well, in this case, he started with a foundation that, honestly, nobody else would have dared to build. It all kicked off with this huge bet on being the bad guy.
This timeline really tells you everything. In '92, he has this classic, heroic debut. Now, the industry playbook says, great, do that again. But a year later, he takes this sharp, wild turn into darkness, playing these obsessive, negative characters. Only after proving he could be the villain everyone feared, did he become the romantic hero everyone loved. Come on, that's not luck. That's a deliberate, brilliant sequence. In this quote, it just perfectly captures his whole mindset. He wasn't chasing the safe, easy role. He was chasing the story, the messy, complicated characters that other leading men were literally running away from. And that gamble, it paid off big time. It proved he wasn't just another charming hero, he was a completely fearless actor.
All right, let's get to the next part of the blueprint, because for any great architect, what you choose not to build is just as critical as what you do. This is all about the incredible power of saying no.
I mean, just look at this list. These aren't just hit movies, these are cinematic landmarks that defined a whole era of filmmaking. A film that revived a career, one that went to the Oscars, another that became one of the biggest films ever, and he was reportedly offered all of them first. By saying no, he didn't just shape his own path, he literally helped reshape the careers of his rivals and, you could argue, the entire industry.
And here's the crucial part. These weren't mistakes or missed opportunities. You have to see each no as a strategic choice. He was building this protective wall around his brand. As amazing as those roles became, they just didn't fit his blueprint, so he kept the gates closed to protect the integrity of the whole structure he was building.
Of course, no architect is perfect, right? Sometimes the design needs some serious adjustments. And for a period, even Shah Rukh Khan himself admitted that his own choices were faltering, that the blueprint was in desperate need of a course correction.
But what's so fascinating is how he handled it. This wasn't just a slump, it was a structured, almost clinical recalibration. Step 1, he openly admitted he was creatively stuck. Step 2, he started pivoting away from just big budget spectacle and back towards compelling stories. And then step 3, the most radical move of all for a superstar, he took a multi-year break, a complete hiatus to totally reassess the blueprint.
So, when you put all these pieces together, the early risks, the strategic no's, and that incredible ability to course correct, what you get is the final design, the complete blueprint for a Badshah, a king.
So what's the result of this architectural project that's been going on for decades? Well, it comes down to a number, over $1 billion. And that's not just a measure of wealth. That's the valuation of a perfectly executed long-term vision.
So what can we take away from all this? What are the core principles of his blueprint? Well, first, you got to embrace calculated risks, especially early on. Second, understand that a strategic no can be way more powerful than an easy yes. Third, don't just survive your mistakes, actively learn from them and recalibrate. And finally, and this is the most important one, don't just build a filmography, build a brand. And that kind of leaves us with this final thought to chew on. When you're crafting a legacy, what really defines the final structure more? The walls you meticulously build, project by project? Or is it the doors you have the foresight and frankly the courage to never, ever open?